Some of my regional team members are still meeting people who they haven't met for some time. Ladies and gentlemen, I welcome you to today's get-together as part of the celebrations for the Golden Jubilee year of Mr. R.K. Sinha's journey in the security industry. I especially welcome our customers, partners and well-wishers who have joined us today. Mr. R.K. Sinha's journey is remarkable for its humble beginnings and continuous innovations with a let us do it ourselves spirit. Some of his most exciting innovations, which I remember, have been setting up a dog squad and training large and aggressive dogs for security duty. This still remains a good option for guest houses and bungalows. Including full contact martial arts in the training curriculum for guards and officers. This continues till date. Designing the first cash van for carrying cash of banks. This has now grown into a separate joint venture company known as SIS Prosegur. Setting up a fully residential training academy for security guards. This has shown a big growth, and now there are 25 such academies located all over the country with a capacity to train 4,000 guards every month. Design and implementation of the Graduate Trainee Officers Program, which gives a big opportunity every year to young talent languishing in rural and semi-urban India. More than half of the current business managers of SIS have joined the company through this program. Setting up a dedicated employees' welfare fund with a steady revenue stream. Entrusting his company at the suitable time to Mr. Uday Singh, a professional CEO who came from an engineering background and had successfully set up and run large industrial units. True to his background, Uday's success in re-engineering SIS, together with Rituraj and Mr. R.K. Sinha, will always be a part of SIS folklore. Mr. Sinha's leadership style and pace of working was such that we not only burnt the midnight oil many times, but we also greeted the sunrise on countless occasions. However, we had amazing teams and it was all great fun. Under Mr. Sinha's leadership, SIS continues to back innovations and change. The group is now led by his son Rituraj, who has taken over as the managing director of the group. Under Rituraj, SIS has entered new areas. We are now including technology to make our security services more effective. Drones, cameras, networks, together with specialized software, are rapidly being included in our regular services. The scope of introducing robots is under consideration. One of our successful group companies, VProtect, deals exclusively in setting up alarm monitoring systems for businesses as well as homes. We have also diversified into housekeeping services. 3 large and growing housekeeping companies are now a part of the SIS group. Taken together, they are the second largest in the industry. Who knows, by now they might be the largest also. I don't have the latest data. SIS is now also adding fully running companies to the SIS family, and ensuring their integration is now a major activity. The inorganic additions have helped the SIS group grow even faster. The group now consists of 35 companies spread across India, Australia, New Zealand, and Singapore, and their combined turnover was around $1.5 billion last year. Today, the SIS family consists of over 3 lakh employees, stretches over 4 countries, and it still continues to have innovation and change as its DNA. Delivering better services to its customers remains its prime objective. The remarkable journey of Mr. Sinha and SIS has been captured in a book, The SIS Story, written by Prince Matthews Thomas. Prince is the managing editor of the online newspaper, The Morning Context. We will witness the launch of the book later in the evening. For interested readers, the book is also available on Amazon. Thank you once again, and with a very warm welcome to all of you. I now invite you to watch a short video showing some of the highlights of the SIS story. Thank you.
50 years ago, it began with a single guard. A simple duty, a steadfast promise. An idea that grew into a vision. From securing gates with vigilance to managing facilities with innovation, that vision became a movement. From safeguarding people to moving the nation's cash with trust, that movement shaped lives, built trust and created a legacy. From traditional methods to next-gen AI-powered solutions, that legacy continues to grow. 50 years of transformation, resilience and growth. And today, that legacy unfolds before you.
Hello. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the SIS story. Thank you so much, Director Finance Sir, for his opening remarks and doing the digital unveiling of the book. The book has been published by HarperCollins, a renowned publisher which doesn't need any introduction. And as Director Finance Sir mentioned, the book has been written by Prince Thomas, who has over 22 years of experience as a business journalist. He has worked with Economic Times, Business Standard, Hindu Business Line, Money Control, Dow Jones, Forbes India, and so on. Now, to introduce the book to the gathering, I would be requesting my friend, publisher at HarperCollins, Mr. Sachin Sharma, to come and address.
Good evening. My name is Sachin Sharma and I publish books at HarperCollins. It's a pleasure and a privilege to be part of this beautiful evening here. And I'm pleasantly surprised that I see a full house during a Diwali week. A big round of applause you can give to yourself. That actually speaks loudly of one man who's on the cover of this book. You know, this is his brand, which is speaking out loud here without him being here personally. I think that, in my opinion, is the biggest strength of any entrepreneur. I'll keep my speech short, because this is not my evening. This is the evening that belongs to Mr. Sinha. 1973 was a landmark year. Not because in 1973 the god of cricket Sachin Tendulkar was born, but because there was a young man, a journalist, who was told by a socialist leader, one of the most popular socialist leaders, Jayaprakash Narayan, that Ravindra these ex-servicemen, they were people who were retired from the army. He said, इन लोगों को कुछ retirement के बाद कोई रोजगार अगर कुछ कर सकते हैं तो आप इनकी मदद कीजिए. And this young man decides to leave his job of a journalist. At that time, he was earning a princely amount of 250 rupees per month. So that was the year when the seeds of this organization were born. But I'm not here to talk about the company, you know. I think the man on the cover of this book is more important than the company, because here is a man from Bihar, and, you know, we all know that entrepreneurship from Bihar is the least that you will expect. Nothing against the state, but that is the, you know, state of affairs. So a man from Bihar coming and setting up a company, a professional company, without any management degree, and he goes on and becomes and makes it one of the largest, not only in the country, but of course, globally. Now, here's a man who knows his employees by their names. He knows the names of their spouses, their family. He addresses them by their first name. He goes and attends most of them, of course, their family functions. So he treats his entire organization like his family. So, you know, when in the business of, I mean, I've been publishing business books. This is technically a business book, but to tell you the truth, in the last 20 years or so that I've been publishing books, I've never published a business book. We are in the business of telling good stories, and this is a good story. So those of you who have not read this book, please go ahead and read this book. I'll just give you some snippets from the book. There are two parts of this book. One part is where Ravindra Kishorji is building up the business from scratch in a place like Bihar. So there's only one incident that I can, you know, recall. People in SIS would, of course, know the story, but people who are not in SIS will not, may not be aware of the story. So there was this Koila king called BP Jain, if I'm right, if I'm not wrong, yeah. He, I mean, obviously had SIS as a security firm, and there was a Bahubali, as they have in Bihar, called Suryadev Singh. And Suryadev Singh would ask him for Rangdari. And this man at some point stops it. And then there are notices, you know, that obviously get put up as outside his factory, कि अब यहाँ से आप लोग जाइए, यहाँ पे आप काम नहीं कर सकते हैं. And lo and behold, one evening or late evening, Mr. Sinha decides to go to this Bahubali's house, obviously guarded by people. And without giving you too much from the story, he goes straight away to this guy and tells him कि अगर आप ये रंगदारी बंद नहीं करोगे, especially BP Jain से, then you're going to suffer losses. This man, who's the Bahubali, of course, there is a young man coming in his bedroom at that time and telling him that you're going to incur losses if you ask this man for ransom anymore. So he's like really amused. He says, ki, why? You know, how dare you? First you come here and then you're threatening me. He says, I'm not threatening you. Here's what is going to happen. You will attack his premises. I know you take one lakh at that time, one lakh as Rangdari at that time he used to take. He says कि आप आएंगे, आप लोग हमला करेंगे, and you know, I will also have my guards there. Of course, we'll lose some men, but what you will lose here is your reputation. And from that day onwards, nobody's going to give you money. So that's just one example from the book, which is, of course, part of the first part, and then, of course, in the second part, for people who are serious business builders. That's an amazing case study. You know, you start reading the book from the time when Rituraj takes over. So he's a young Skyan. He may not know the name of all the 3 lakh odd employees of SIS, but here's a man with a very, very strong business acumen. 2007 is the time when he makes his first acquisition, I think. He acquires this Australian company called Chubb. Am I pronouncing it correctly? Chubb, yes. And the company is, of course, 7 times bigger than SIS. But historically, if you do case studies of businesses and mergers and acquisitions, companies that have done acquisitions of companies which are bigger than them, sooner or later the merged entity, as luck would have it, or maybe circumstantially, they do not do well historically. But here's a man who not only makes this company profitable in the next 3 years, he goes on to make 13 more acquisitions in the next decade. So if I was to recommend one solid business book full of masala, full of business lessons, I think this would be the book I would recommend this year. It comes with a publisher's bias, of course, but leave the bias aside, just take a look at this book. It's a breezy read, not more than 3 to 4 hours is what it'll take. And you can thank me later. So here's the SIS story for you. Thank you very much for being patient listeners, and thank you very much for coming here and be part of this evening. Thank you.
Thank you, Sachin, for helping us visualize the book. Now we'll have some of the SIS senior management leaders who have actually lived this story on the stage to do the physical unveiling of the book and a quick fireside chat for us. For the same, may I request Mr. Tapas Chaudhary, MD Cisco Security. May I request SS Oja sir, COO SIS Security, and Mr. Shankar Subramaniam, CEO We Protect, to please come on the stage. Sachin, also, you may please join. I would request all of you to please unwrap the book and unveil the cover so that it can be a good photo opportunity for all the teams here. Quick chat with all the speakers here on the stage. And sir, we'll keep it a free-willing chat. कोशिश करिएगा कि आप अपने दिल से बात करें. And I will be coming back to you, each one of you, through my questions. So my first question is to Tapas Chaudhary sir. Sir, why do you feel it is the right time now to publish the book about SIS when we have completed 50 years in the business?
Hello. Okay. Am I audible? Good evening and welcome to this particular big occasion of book launch of, this SIS story. Now, as a part of this particular 50 years of launching and SIS has been working silently during these particular 50 years, and we never really take any pause in this particular journey. But suddenly we realized that there has to be something on record. And otherwise, if we don't do it now, probably it will get suppressed, in the corporate presentations and in this particular balance sheets and so on. So we will continue to be busy as per our normal business, but at some point of time, this needs to be recorded and somewhere placed. Now, a small security company which started from Patna and then over a period of time became one of the largest employer in the country, and be it in top 5 or top 10, and that itself tells about this particular story of SIS growth. And we are very fortunate that we are part of this particular group, and we will ensure that this particular legacy will continue to be, taken for us. That's
Thank
all.
you, sir.
Thank you.
Now I come back to, a round of claps, please. Now, I put my next question to Oja sir. Sir, जब आपने इस किताब को पढ़ा, what did stuck you the most?
थैंक यू। इस किताब में एक सबसे जो अच्छी चीज़ मेरे को देखने को मिली वो है कि इस किताब में एक वो ईमानदारी हमें देखने को मिली, वो ऑनेस्टी देखने को मिली, जो कि सारी चीज़ों को जिस तरह से ग्राउंड लेवल पे जो चीज़ हुई है उस समय की सारी चीज़ों को दिखाया गया है। ऐसा नहीं है कि नॉर्मली होता है कि बहुत सारी चीज़ें हैं कि जो छुपा ली जाती हैं और अच्छी चीज़ों को दिखाया जाता है। इस किताब में वैसा नहीं है। जो जैसा उस समय का सिचुएशन था उस तरह की कहानी उसमें लिखी गई है और उस तरह से दर्शाया गया है। या वो ऑस्ट्रेलिया का हमारा विस्तार हुआ, हमारी कंपनी आगे बढ़ी, या हमारे उस समय हमारा कंपनी ऑर्गेनाइज नहीं थी हमारी कंपनी, तो उसको भी दिखाया गया है। या हमारे प्रोसेस एंड सिस्टम में जो प्रॉब्लम्स थे उसके विषय में भी डिस्कस किया गया है। तो अच्छा या बुरा जो कुछ भी रहा उस पीरियड में, इस 50 साल की जर्नी में, उस सबको कंपनी ने उसी तरह प्रस्तुत करने की कोशिश की है ताकि वो कहीं से ऐसा नहीं लगे कि कोई चीज़ है जो ग्राउंड लेवल पे थी उससे कुछ डिफरेंट दिख रहा है। इसलिए ये मेरे को थोड़ा इसकी जो ईमानदारी है जो लिखने में और जो जिस हिसाब से बताया गया है वो रिमार्केबल।
Thank you, sir. Now, my question is to Shankar. Sir, in the last 50 years, SIS has not just shaped itself into a better company, but we have also worked to shape the industry, be it security industry or facility management or cash logistics. Do you want to reflect on that legacy of SIS?
Thanks, Ishant. I think it's a very interesting question at this point of time. If we look at the journey of 50 years of SIS, particularly I look at how the industry has evolved in the last 50 years and how SIS has contributed in this evolution. If you look at it, both they are completely related. They are completely, intertwined with each other. You cannot have one story without mentioning the other one. That is how the growth structure of SIS and the growth structure of SIS as security as an industry is looked upon. As our chairman, sir, Dr. Rakesh Sinhaji, he has played a very significant role in defining this whole structure of private security. He has played a very pivotal role in doing that by building a dignity towards that particular profession, by building credibility, creating a structured ecosystem where this profession can also be recognized like any other profession in the industry. He has played a very important role in building some of the organizations like CAPSI, which is also about talking about Association for Private Detectives and Investigators, to have a unified voice of this industry. So it has played a very important role. And with his efforts, we also got something called a PASARA, which is basically a reform which gives us what you call a legal status to this whole industry. So it has played a very significant role for the last 50 years or so. We continue to do that even today under the leadership of Mr. Rituraj, who is the Group Managing Director. We are trying to build this whole industry based on the new requirements which are getting built up through upskilling, to training, to new initiatives in terms of collaboration with government bodies. Recent example, if I look at it from a Pelgam incident, I think SIS collaborated with the Civil Defense Department, Ministry of Home Ministry, where we came forward in strengthening the security scenario, preparation rather, by upskilling the SIS frontline team as well. So that is the initiative what SIS has taken. And when you look back, all the collective efforts of last 50 years, you'll always see there are moments where SIS group founder had played a critical role in redefining or shaping this industry into a very professional outfit. And that is how we look at it in totality.
Thank you, Shankar. May I request my friends at the back to please have the back door closed. Now I come back to Tapas sir. So the book talks about SIS unique training culture and use of technology. How have these shaped the company over the years?
Yeah, good question. See, training and technology, these are the two basic ingredients and the two strongest pillars on which SIS has been built. Chairman Dr. R.K. Sinha had realized in the beginning itself, when he came to this particular segment in 1974, that time itself he realized that there is no way, you just can't avoid training and making these particular people on an uniform and they understand these particular basics of security. He had ensured that we provide proper training, at least the basic security, basic training before deployment, and accordingly the basic training centers were established. Today, SIS is the only company who has 22 residential training centers across the country. And all the people who have been employed and deployed at different places, they have undergone these particular training courses. Technology is another thing which is very important in today's scenario. Without technology, only physical security has got no meaning. It has to come with AI and then IoT and all other things. And SIS is the first company or maybe the most prominent company. In fact, today if anyone asks in this particular industry in India, which is the most tech-savvy guarding organization, and the answer is SIS. Joint Managing Director, Mr. Rituraj Sinha had realized that this particular thing, and being a technocrat, so he also tried to ensure that everywhere there has to be some glimpse of technology in the whole scenario. And then we also implemented this particular technology inbuilt into our regular day-to-day operations, like even IOPS, MySIS, SalesMax, and all these particular daily monitoring equipments, these are all technology-based. And we know that in future, this is where SIS is going to get the mileage and take this particular business forward.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
My next question is to Shankar. Shankar, SIS is one of the few organizations that has never required to have a union, labor union. That's quite unique. How did SIS achieve that?
So the way I look at it, it's a very unique setup SIS has having it. SIS does not have any unionized workforce, as we all know. It's not that SIS resisted it, but the way I look at it is that nobody felt the need to have one. It is the other way around. Primarily, if you see, the fabric of SIS is built on two critical factors. One is the trust, and that comes through transparency. And the second part is having a fairness in how you engage with people. So why do you need a union in between? So the way we look at it, you need somebody to represent someone else's grievance to the management. That's the reason you require a union. But the setup of SIS is so unique. I understand with my experience of last almost a decade in the organization, 10 years plus, the way I look at it is that every guard, every janitor, or anyone who is at the client side at the lowermost level, he has got direct access to the chairman, sir, group managing director, CEO, and all the senior leadership of the country, of the company. In our term, we call it as empowerment. This is real empowerment. When you have such a close connect opportunity within the system, you actually don't need any intermediaries to handle that part, handle any engagement, or handle any grievances, where the need does not arise. As someone was yesterday putting up in the dais, in a family, you don't need a mediator, right? It's the same thing that SIS enjoys a family culture, and everybody is transparent, fair, and open for discussion. Communication is, it's an open door communication policy within the SIS ecosystem that encourages people to come forward, share their grievances, or share their happiness, which can be shared with multiple people. That negates the purpose of having any mediated organization like a union to drive that. And that is where I see SIS scores very high in the employee engagement aspect of management. Thank you.
Sure. Thank you.
Shant, just I will add Shankar's word that chairman, one slogan was there that you take care of your people, people will take care of business. This was the most important. And I will also add that Chairman Sir was always personally involved whenever someone is family problem is there. I have seen that he visited their native places also. That touch was there. Secondly, that SIS is the one company who has given e-shop to the guard level also. So he was taking care from bottom to top everybody, and people, as on that I'm telling you that we are, SIS is taking care, family welfare part is there, that even people are covered in ESI or as per the policy, but first priority of this company is to take care of the life of his employee. That is the most important. Normally, I feel that in most of the organization, they go through the process and system. Even the people will die. But I have seen, and there's a liberty that if some कहीं घटना घटती है, पहले उसको बचाओ. ESI में नहीं जाना है, गवर्नमेंट हॉस्पिटल में नहीं जाना है, उसकी फैमिली को बताओ, उसके साथ कोई हादसा हो तो उसको घर तक पहुंचाओ, उसके अंतिम दाह संस्कार में उसको मदद करो. All such support definitely create a value, और उसकी वजह से आज लोग इतने सालों से जुड़े हैं और यूनियन प्रॉब्लम नहीं. That I just wanted to add.
Just taking a cue from what Sachin also mentioned about some incidents which are there in the book. The book में बहुत सारे defining moments हैं, sir. This question is to you, Oja sir. Is there any particular incident maybe specifically since we are in Delhi, linked to Delhi NCR or any other city which you would want to talk about?
I faced lot of issues, basically incident, you can say, in initial stage, when I was just completed training and come to DLF. DLF was started there, building houses and flats, everything. And the SIS got the order of 300 manpower. But the challenge was that during construction, जो भी फ्लैट बनता था उसका जो ब्रास का जो हैंडल होता था, नलके होते थे, वो गांव वाले उखाड़ के लेके चले जाते थे. दैट वाज द मेजर प्रॉब्लम. और वो आते थे मतलब कि बाथरूम के बहाने या कहीं के बहाने. और सो दिस वाज द चैलेंजिंग सिनेरियो एंड देयर वाज अ बिग फाइट टू प्रोटेक्ट ऑल सच थिंग where number of people injured from both the side in Gurgaon. And in spite of all odds, lastly we compromised with the Gurgaon local villages. उन लोगों ने भी हम लोगों का सम्मान किया, हमने भी उनका सम्मान किया. And next day, in spite of all fights, we started the business. और वो मेरे को याद है, ये 3 घंटे की लड़ाई थी और 3 घंटे की लड़ाई में बहुत सारे हादसे हुए थे. वो तो उसमें जनरल जैन साहब हुआ करते थे जो कि डीएलएफ के थे. ही हैज़ एप्रिशिएटेड, और उन्होंने कहा था कि यदि SIS इस तरह का कार्य कर सकती है तो आई फील कि ही कैन बी सक्सेसफुल एनीवेयर इन इंडिया एंड ही कैन डू एनी टाइप ऑफ सिक्योरिटी ही कैन प्रोवाइड परफेक्टली, देयर विल बी नो प्रॉब्लम. और वो समय था कि जब हम पूरा SIS का माइंड चेंज हुआ और हम लोग वो कॉन्फिडेंस हम लोगों के अंदर आया. एंड देन दिल्ली से हम लोगों ने फिर जो प्रोग्रेस हम लोगों का जो हुआ, जो हमारे रास्ते जो खुले, फिर हम लोग आगे बढ़ते गए और कोई भी कठिनाई आई तो हम लोग वहाँ रुके नहीं.
Sure, sir.
थैंक यू.
This brings us to the second last question of the evening. Sir, SIS played a crucial role during COVID-19. I would request you all to please share few experiences from that period. Maybe you can go in any order.
So COVID-19, actually I must say for SIS it was a blessing in disguise. I should not say it, but then, during this particular period when no one was in the road, everything was bilkul, absolutely, vacant and khali and all those things. We were the only people that police was there and SIS vehicle was there and SIS field staffs were there. In fact, during this particular period, through the initiative of Rituraj and the particular team, we got the clearance and the marking of essential services. Because essential services, that particular tag actually has given us to move around. And then today, this is a permanent, tag what this particular security industry is there in the country. Tomorrow, when the dependency on this security, which is the largest sector in the country in terms of manpower and the resource, this particular essential services tag will, take us a long way. So that is one. And second thing is that during this particular period, what not, we have given the confidence, and then even we have created our own fund of about 10 crore, and whoever the direct staff, the billing staff, whoever has got, or even the non-billing staff got affected in this particular corona this thing. So they are all got benefited, and instant help which has been provided, even starting from ration to medicines and all these things. In fact, we had given to their individual guards, houses, took care of them. And that is why what Shankar was saying, no? Why there is no union? Because of that, there is no union. When the guy, he can get it in advance from the organization, so obviously there is no question of going to the third party for help.
So the way I look at it, COVID, that entire period was a very difficult period for the mankind, right? I represent a business within SIS which is tech-driven, and I think that was the period which helped SIS Alarms to establish itself as to a key player as what they are today. So that is the outcome of COVID for We Protect. But having said that, if I look at from a manpower business perspective, it has clearly distinguished ourselves from how industry looks at SIS. From a very fundamental level, business was disrupted completely. Even in that scenario, one thing which we always maintain, that in SIS, there was no layoffs. There was no layoffs. There was no salary deductions. In fact, other way around, salaries were paid in advance, like how Tabasji right now has mentioned. We have supported them with rations, etc. We also had a COVID fund specifically for our frontline people called Hamare Hero Funds, which was allocated to take care of eventualities or anything related to the anything related to COVID mishap which would have happened. So if I put all these points together, that actually reflects the DNA of an organization, how well they are connected with the team within the organization. As an organization, we don't manufacture anything, we don't produce anything. What we have as a resource is our own people, and each one is interdependent on each other. That is an ecology or an ecosystem where SIS is thriving, and that is where SIS is good at. That is how I'll put it. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
इसमें मैं सर ने बताया, शंकर साहब ने बताया, मैं अपना कुछ अनुभव बता रहा हूँ कि जब कोरोना स्टार्ट हुआ था तो ऐसा लगता था कि कौन सी रात अंतिम रात होगी पता नहीं है, और किस दिन पॉलीथीन में लपेट दिया जाएगा ये भी पता नहीं है। और सिचुएशन ये था कि पॉलीथीन में लपेट देने के बाद आप परिवार के लोग भी देख नहीं सकते हैं कि किस हालत में आप हैं। तो इट्स अ वेरी हॉरेबल सिचुएशन, एंड आई कैन से आवर जीएमडी सर दैट जब हुआ था तो मोस्ट ऑफ द ऑर्गेनाइजेशन में बहुत सारे लोगों की या तो नौकरी चली गई थी, और हमारे यहाँ भी था, क्योंकि उस समय एसेंशियल सर्विस नहीं था, तो पुलिस भी हमें बाहर नहीं निकलने देती थी। जब जेएमडी सर का इंटरफेरेंस हुआ और जब होम मिनिस्ट्री से अनाउंसमेंट हुआ कि सिक्योरिटी और फैसिलिटी इज़ ए एसेंशियल सर्विसेज, तब हम लोग बाहर निकले। नहीं तो उस समय ऐसा था कि मौत भी सामने खड़ी थी और नौकरी भी जाने वाली थी, और बहुत सारे लोगों की गई। कोरोना के बाद हमने बहुत सारे इंडस्ट्री के लोगों का इंटरव्यू किया, जिसमें 25%, 30% या तो लोगों की नौकरी चली गई, छटनी हो गई, या तो 30% सैलरी कम कर दिया गया। लेकिन SIS के DNA में क्या है कि कोई भी परिस्थिति हो, कोई भी स्थिति हो, वो हमेशा आगे बढ़ती रहती है, और इसके जितने भी लोग हैं उस परिस्थिति में भी लोगों ने अपने भी आदमियों को मदद किया। जितनी कैश वैन थी, आई थैंक्स टू संजय पांडे साहब कि जितने ट्रेनिंग वैन और कैश वैन है उसको एम्बुलेंस में कन्वर्ट कर दिया गया, ऑक्सीजन बना के। हम लोगों ने क्लाइंट को यदि एम्बुलेंस की कमी होती थी तो हम लोगों ने वो प्रोवाइड किया ताकि एक दूसरे हॉस्पिटल तक ले जाया जा सके। So SIS has done a wonderful job, and their people have done a wonderful job during the corona, क्योंकि घर के लोग भी परेशान थे कि कब उसके हस्बैंड को, उसके बच्चे को क्या हो जाएगा पता नहीं है, क्योंकि प्रतिदिन ऑफिस जाना पड़ता था, और इन स्पाइट ऑफ ऑल प्रिकॉशन और मुसीबत के बावजूद भी हम लोग ऑफिस जाते थे और उसी उत्साह और उमंग से काम करते थे। तो इट्स ए क्रूशियल पीरियड, बट we face these challenges very साहसपूर्ण ढंग से हम लोगों ने फेस किया।
Thank you, sir. Now, this brings us to the last question, which is to Tapas, sir. Sir, just a brief answer around it. That what message would you want a reader to draw from this book?
This book, the SIS story, is all our story. In fact, the guards, the janitors, the branches, regional heads, everybody has got a story, and all these stories put together is the SIS story. Now, it has created, in fact, it is not like a normal book. So once you start reading this particular book, you will be engrossed in such a fashion that once you start and then you will tend to finish it off in one stroke. And it's all practical situations which has been created. And the real story of SIS, how it has started, in 2002 it was told that 25 crore was the turnover, and from there in 25 we have come to the level of 15,000, 1.5 billion US dollar. So that is the big story, and there are many situations where 2008 when we acquired this particular Chubb, and then we became Australia's #1. Then gradually we expanded to New Zealand and Singapore, and India's first multinational in security, that is SIS. And thanks to the team and the vision of Chairman Dr. R.K. Sinha, unfortunately is not here today to attend this particular kind of a program, but we are there to take this particular company forward and in future. Means now we have vision, every 5 years we make our vision plan, and now it is 2030, and similarly, it will continue to grow. We have plans that at least we will have around 5 lakhs families, to be supported from SIS. That's the kind of vision what we have.
This brings us to the closure of this fireside chat. I extend my thanks to all the 3 leaders on the stage for candidly reflecting their stories. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Now moving on, let's hear few lines from the book itself. We have selected few passages from the book. One is about customers and another is about employees, which are at the heart of the SIS. For reading the excerpts from the book, please join me in welcoming Major General Rajiv Sharma sir and Brigadier Sanjay Kadian sir on the stage, please.
Thank you, Ishan. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Before I start with our part of the evening, I just can't help but make a remark. Mr. Sachin from HarperCollins started his talk by saying that the SIS, when it began its journey, started, as stated by Mr. Jayaprakash Narayan, of providing employment to the ex-servicemen. The two of us here are living proofs that that tradition is continuing. Now, having said that, when I was told by Ishan that I have to read a passage from the book, which is already marked and kept on the table here, it set my mind racing. I said, what could be the aim of reading this passage? You know, just a couple of passages from the book actually do not do justice to the entire book, wherein each page or each chapter is a life lesson in itself. But then I thought, this is probably to evince interest in all of you to go ahead and procure your own copy. And Sachin, I am helping your cause. And once you have procured that copy of yours, to light that fire in you, wherein you try and imbibe each of the values which are given in each page of the book, and live the SIS story from here on as it has been going on for past so many years. As I said, the SIS story, the book itself, is a masterclass in leadership. It's a masterclass in defining goals, in relentless pursuit of those goals, in making each one of us believe that we are an important part of that entire mechanism and we have an important role to play in the achievement of those goals. It's a masterclass in building the team which was going to lead SIS in achievement of those goals. Here I am reminded of a quote I read somewhere, that when you are choosing your team or when in hiring, you must look for 3 qualities. The first quality, obviously, is integrity. The second one is intelligence, and the third one is energy. But if the first part is missing, that is integrity is missing, do not hire. Because then he will kill you with the other 2 parts, that is with his intelligence and his energy. So looking at our leadership, you all know what men of character were chosen by our founding father, who have led SIS to be at a stage where it is the cynosure of all eyes. It is a lesson, this book, in looking after your men, to the extent that they owe complete allegiance to the company and to its aims. It teaches us how to stay ahead of the curve. The examples were cited by all of you, that the real character of an organization comes out in adversity, and how we stood out in times of COVID, in demonetization, and more recently in Op Sindoor is actually proof of the fact that we've always remained ahead of the curve. In times of uncertainty, again, somebody has beautifully said that when nothing is certain, everything is possible. So this book actually teaches us, do not look at the uncertainties, focus on the possibilities. That is what we have been doing all these years long, and that is what we will continue to do in the future. Now, without much ado, sir, I will read out the passage entrusted to me. It is a passage from the chapter called The Technological Evolution of SIS. And I quote, "In a fast-changing technological landscape with evolving customers' demands, one has 2 choices. Cannibalize yourself to meet customer expectations, or allow the customer to find someone else to replace you." And here I quote Mr. Rituraj, that you have to work with the principle that what's good for the customer will be good for the business in the long term. Under the umbrella of one SIS, the client gets services related to housekeeping, cash logistics, and security. One SIS offers the convenience of having one person to talk to rather than 4. So this is in keeping with the government policy of single window clearance, ease of doing business. So we've been thinking what the client can ask of us and always remained ahead of the curve. These customers want security, facility management, and also control pests in their premises. And all these services are routed through one entity. That is a concept which is built to address multiple things. But firstly, to ensure customer concerns are addressed. That is one part. The second is to explore the cross-sell opportunity between various businesses. Third, it is a platform for all businesses to come together. Coming to the end of my passage, the SIS Group's businesses have pivoted as customer requirements have evolved and have always stayed ahead of the curve by using technology as the accelerator. Thank you. I now hand over to Sanjay for his part.
Good evening, everyone. Before I read out from the book, I take this opportunity to narrate a small story or the event which I went through. Since leaders are here, they will be motivated and inspired by the story which I am now narrating. As good practice existing in the system, I was told about 2 years back to take a lecture of GTO course, GTO 38 at Garwa Academy. On the first day when I completed the training, I got a message from Commandant Academy mentioning that our chairman, sir, is coming by road from Patna and he's going to spend whole day at the academy and will proceed in the night by the night train. So as he reached in the night, I saw him, I found him, he was not very well with his health. But next day morning, his routine started. Early in the morning, he started at 7. It was the outdoor session when he reviewed the parade of GTOs and guards. For me, it was seeing him standing throughout that session, then immediately coming, changing, taking breakfast and going for a GTO session which was scheduled for about an hour. But it lasted for 2 hours because he continued interacting with the GTOs, motivating them, giving words of wisdom. And when I observed, I found that he was not comfortable while speaking, but despite that, he continued. And at the end of the session, then I could not stop myself and I asked Commandant, okay, if you can ask Chairman Sir that because of tiring or a hectic schedule lined up now after this, will you like to rest and we can reschedule something? But our chairman sir declined it. He continued with his Bada Khana, talking, meeting guards, GTOs, taking care. Thereafter, there was a session with civil administration with DC and SP. He went through that session also. And in the evening, he came for culture program. We were discussing among our staff that he may have to be moved fast because the train will get delayed. But he continued and barely could catch the train and with his program. So what I'm trying to say is, at least when I saw him, a 73 years old man with this kind of health, he's so caring about his GTO cadre who are coming as new leaders, guards. It was frankly speaking, it changed my outlook also towards my second innings in SIS. So now, that was the first generation narration. I'll now read out something from the book which speaks about how we went through the pandemic and how we fought it. It's from the book. As he was listening to his colleagues, Rituraj saw that an unusually large amount of groceries were being brought in by his staff into the house. What is happening? He asked Palvi, his wife. It's lockdown. We need to stock up, she replied. Something struck Rituraj. Guys, he went back to the Zoom call with his colleagues. My wife has called in for 1 month's ration at home. Has it happened in your house also? Most answered in the affirmative.
It disturbed Rituraj. He and his senior leadership could afford to buy a month's worth of grocery in advance. How about the guards and janitors on the ground? They didn't have enough money to buy ration and stock it. He immediately told his team, we need to transfer an advance salary to everyone on the payroll tomorrow so that everyone can buy ration for their families. But some of these people may still leave us and go back their native place. Should we spend money? Especially in a time like this, some of the colleagues asked. It doesn't matter, we may take a hit, but this has to be done. Worried about the welfare of SIS families, employees who got infected. There was the whole affordability issue with the cost of testing and then loss of pay during quarantine and recovery period. Those who were infected also needed access to oxygen cylinders, one of the most sought after commodity during the pandemic. To address these issues, and as per advice from RK sir, Chairman sir, SIS set up Hamare Heroes Welfare Fund, which earlier also brought out by one of the speaker, which provided rupees 10,000 to every employee who got infected. The fund also provided a life cover. To make such financial assistance possible, RK had set up a rupees 10 crore Hamare Heroes Welfare Fund. Medical insurance didn't cover COVID at that time, so this fund was a big help for employees and their families. Without the fund, many would have lost their lives. SIS team had survived a crisis that could have broken them. They didn't just survive, they emerged stronger. To top it all, since the pandemic, SIS place in work, Great Place to Work ranking has only got better. It's consistently ranked among the top companies in the countries across categories for women, mega employers, nation builders, and for building a culture of innovation. In 2025, it was ranked 9th in the country for mainstream Great Place to Work category. This is the story which has been given here, and I will request you all to go through the book. It's very interesting and inspiring story to read. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir. Now, to do the closing reflections and a vote of thanks, I would request another senior management leader, Mr. Avinash Kumar, COO, Cash Logistics Business, to come on the stage, please.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Difficult to do closing remarks on such a fantastic 50-year-old journey. But I will say this. Tonight is an emotional moment and a matter of pride for all of us. This book is not a personal achievement of anyone. It belongs to all the team members of the SIS group, present or past. It tells the story of the crew members, whether in security business, the Jawans or security guards, cleaning crew, in facility management business, custodians in the cash management business, as also officers, leaders, and of course the customers, all bound by one shared purpose, service before self. From a very humble beginning at Patna in 1974 to the global presence today, the SIS success story is a proof that in the long run, values endure and the vision ensures victory. As we celebrate the 50 years of SIS Group, we also look forward to the next 50 years going forward. guided by the Vision 2030, the spirit of innovation, but even more important, the approach and philosophy of the group, people first. And I take this opportunity to thank all the team members, whether past or present, for being part of this journey and building an institution of trust. And it is with deep gratitude that we dedicate the SIS story to all of you. Thank you for joining us today, and thank you for being part of us.
Now to formally close the ceremony, I would at the last request everyone to please join us in thanking all our customers and distinguished guests who have spent time with us today evening. Please, a round of applause for all our customers and guests. And also a shout out to all our Jawans, janitors and cash crew members for tirelessly working for all our customers and because of whom this day has been possible for us. The books for customer gifting are placed outside. And I will also request our customers and guests to share few bites around what do they feel about SIS completing this 5 decades of journey. We have a social media team outside. The book is also available on Amazon. So I will encourage everyone you to go and buy a copy for your friends there. Now we'll proceed for dinner and drinks. Thank you so much for joining. You all have been a lovely audience. Thank you.